Today I'll be showing you how to set up a WHM Resellers account. If you did happen to sign up with us, you will need to click on the WHM link that was inside the email that you received with all your account information inside. Once at the WHM login screen, enter your credentials. Okay, once logged in, the first thing you'll need to do upon setting up WHM for the first time is come down to Feature Manager underneath Packages. Okay, now Feature Manager basically enables or disables certain features on the user end cPanel. So basically what we're going to do is start setting up our first plan. So we'll make this first plan basic. You can name this anything that you like and click Add. Now as you can see, all the features inside here are basically what you can enable and disable the user to be able to have access to on the plan that you're creating. So for example, you could take off email forwarding, and so because this is a basic plan, the first plan that we're creating, we might have an advanced plan which is a little more expensive, and on the basic plan here we might disable it, and then on the advanced plan when we make that one next, we might enable it to give the user a bit of incentive to the more expensive plan. But we'll leave them all enabled for today and just click Save. Okay, basic is now saved. Now the next thing you'll need to do is actually create the plan itself. Go over to Packages and click on Add Package. Okay, now name, once again I like to keep them the same as the feature list we just created. I personally like to create a feature list and a package together, basic as well to avoid confusion. Now quota is basically disk space that you're going to allow the user to use, a maximum disk space. Goes in megabytes. There's 1,000 megabyte to every gigabyte. So if we were going to give them 6 gig, we'd put 6,000 megabyte. Bandwidth, this is measured monthly, and this is the amount of bandwidth that they can use during that month. If we wanted to put 10 gig, of course, obviously 10,000. Okay, now the rest is pretty well self-explanatory. Depending, because this is a basic plan, we might only give them 1 FTP account, 2 email accounts, etc. Databases, that's MySQL databases. So we'll set that on max domain subdomains. We'll set that on 3. Now this is one we get a lot of questions for, is max add-on domains. An add-on domain basically allows the user to have extra websites that have their own domain names onto the one account. So we'll just put 1 in there. Now dedicated IPs, basically if we allocated you some dedicated IPs, or your service provider, if you're with somebody else, has allocated you dedicated IPs, and you have some spare, and you'd like every user that signs up to this plan that you're creating to get a dedicated IP, then select that box. If you don't want them to have a dedicated IP and all share the same IP address, don't click that. Front page extensions, I'll just click this. Front page is a HTML editor. It's a Microsoft product. Basically, with that enabled, if somebody does use front page, they can save their work and it automatically uploads to the server. We'll leave that off for today. Leave CGI access enabled, as some people do still use it. Now cPanel theme, this has got a few different looks for the user, so you can go through and have a play with that over time. Today we'll just leave that on number 3. Feature list. Now this is the feature list that we just created. So we'll choose basic. Now basic now meets up with the basic plan. That's why I said I like to keep the feature list and the actual package name. So then that way there's no confusion, and if you need to go back and edit anything later on, then you can. Okay, we'll just leave that on English and click Add. And there you go, you've your first plan. So we've added the basic plan. So if you wanted to add additional plans, you might have a basic, advanced, a platinum plan, etc. You just go through the exact same process and enable and disable depending on what plans and how you want to mix it up. Now, to actually create an account using those packages that you just created, so say you've set up all your packages and you're happy with the plans that you've made, you'd come up to create an account, and then you'd type in your customer's domain name. It will automatically give you a username. You can change that if you'd like, but I'd suggest using the one that it gives you. Now, I'd also suggest using the password generator, just because, as you can see, it's very complicated. It's very hard to brute force hack. So go ahead and that password and maybe paste it in a notepad document or make a note of it. Click I have copied this password in a safe place, use password, and as you can see here, the strength meter, that shows you that it's 100 out of 100. If you do happen to want to use your passwords, go by that strength meter, purely just because if it's anything under 80, I wouldn't recommend using that password. Email, type in the customer's email address. Okay, now choose a package. So this is choosing the plan that we just created. So there's basic, so we'll choose that. Now these last few settings, they should already be set by your service provider, and unless you want something different, I wouldn't touch these. So just click create. Okay, now as you can see, cPanel has gone through, WHM has gone through and automatically created this cPanel account. As you can see there, there's all the details for it. You can copy these and paste them somewhere if you want to keep them for your own records. So now if we were to go log out, okay, so now we will go to the customer end, so go to your cPanel. Okay, now this is the customer's login, so they put in their test out this first account and their password, and there you have it. We're in their account, and if we go expand, you'll see their hosting package is the basic one that we just created, and if you scroll up, you'll see the email account, subdomains, and all the maximum settings for what they're allowed, including their disk space and their monthly transfer. Well, that just about wraps it up. Yeah, thank you for listening.